Before we talk about the immune system, it is important to know what a pathogen is. A pathogen is a bacterium, virus, or other microorganism that can cause disease. In this case, it's usually the invader that the immune system fights off.
The immune system can be divided into two separate parts, the innate and adaptive immune system. Let's start off with the innate. The innate is the first line of defense of the immune system. It includes physical barriers, phagocytes, and inflammatory responses.
Next, the adaptive immune system. The adaptive immune system is specific and a lot slower than the innate immune system. It can be divided into humoral and cell-mediated responses. Humoral responses and cell-mediated responses are quite different from one another. Humoral responses are a type of immunity that is mediated by macromolecules in fluids, while cell-mediated responses are a type of immunity mediated by T cells that promote destruction of phagocytes. Humoral response involves B cells. There are two different kinds of B cells, memory B cells and plasma B cells. Cell-mediated response involves T cells. There are three different kinds of T cells: memory T cells, cytotoxic T cells, and helper T cells. Both T cells and B cells are lymphocytes, also known as white blood cells. The adaptive immune system is a lot faster the second time that same pathogen enters the immune system. This is due to memory cells. Memory cells remember for faster attack, hence the name memory.
B cells. Plasma B cells produce antibodies to combat pathogens. Yeah, so actually, due to unexpected events, the video will continue in a different environment. We regret this inconvenience.
Now let's talk about B cells and T cells. First, B cells. B cells mature in the bone marrow. It also attacks invaders outside the cell and binds to antigens free or on the surface of the cell and finds antigens that matches its receptors. Now, let's talk about T cells. T cells mature in the thymus. Those are derived in bone marrow, like B cells. It attacks its invaders inside the cell, as well as binds to antigens presented on the surface of the host cell, and waits until it's activated by a T helper cell to attack.
B cells. Plasma B cells make and secrete antibodies. Memory B cells remember the pathogen for faster antibody production in the future. T cells. Helper T cells activate B cells and cytotoxic T cells. Cytotoxic T cells, once activated, kill infected target cells. Memory T cells remember foreign invaders to produce an attack in the future.
Other than the fact that cytotoxic T cells attack and helper T cells activate, they do share other differences. In order for the toll-like receptor to bind to class 1 MHC, it must be accompanied by CD8, creating CD8 plus T cells, which are now activated cytotoxic T cells. And, with the help of CD4, the toll-like receptor is able to bind to MHC2, creating CD4 plus, also known as mature helper T cells, which help activate B cells, macrophages, and cytotoxic T cells. Antigen-presenting cells stimulate T cells to become either cytotoxic or helper T cells. Now, here's a diagram to help better understand the concepts that we just went over. Well, that was the immune system, and I hope that's helpful.